Hello and welcome. I'm Scott Swiderski, and I'm here in our Digital Innovation Center, one of the many centers that Konica Minolta currently has in our Intelligent Information Management group that helps to support large-scale and smaller-scale digital conversion programs and projects. The challenge in digitization today for many of our federal clients is to begin to understand how to ultimately operationalize these new guidelines that have been made available through NARA. The Digital Innovation Center brings together the best-of-class technology, an understanding of the processes and their changes, and ultimately a quality management program that helps to bring a number of these different components and variables together to ensure the proper and compliant outcome for the support that we provide to federal agencies. What we plan to show you in our Digital Innovation Center is our commitment to the excellence in the processes and the technologies that are needed for our federal agency clients to fully comply with these new guidelines. FADGI will be a key part of that, but really with the process that's needed to support the FADGI outcome. Let's go on a tour and let's take some time to look at both the technology, our process, and ultimately our guidance around how it is that we can operationalize these digitization efforts.
This is our capture suite. We have scanning, QC, indexing, reporting. We'll touch on this a little bit more, but for the scanning portion, we're going to show you our different speeds. We'll run this 8.5 by 11 work. Start with our native 200, 300 DPI. This is our 55 inches per second, our slowest scanning speed at 200, 300 DPI. This is our standard speed across any Fusion model that you buy. As it's running, we're capturing front and rear images, color, black and white, 300 DPI. We also have another higher speed for the 300 or 200 DPI capture. And I'll put that on a faster one. So this is still, and of these, we can still pass FADGI 300 DPI, 3-star. Also part of there, the permanent records 400 DPI option. So this is our speed that can also pass FADGI 3-star. It's a little bit slower than the 300 because of the higher DPI. But still, pretty fast.
Really fast.
We deal with delicate documents all the time. Old archival military applications a long time ago, and we run them on these. We do have different feed tires and reverse belts that handle those a little, more gently. And then really, so depending on the level of delicacy, you can run them out to the feed tray or the run out tray. That's an addressable pocket. Or we do a really good job. We have a medium spindle that can be used for delicate documents also. This LED light bar will indicate there was a stoppage there. And we have a hand feed mode. So instead of running it through the feeder, you could. So recovering from a jam or delicate document, you can feed it and run it through there. We do have a little feeder throughput control and increase and decrease. There's more time after the cameras to make decisions based on recognition. So reading barcodes, zonal OCR, doc type, you can see it, make a printing or pocketing decision based on what you're recognizing. So we have built in an integration to, for these operators, instead of having to image and then go take those images, run them against Golden Thread, we baked it into our software. Golden Thread is the software application that does the analysis. DICE is the target.
Got it. Okay.
Image Science Associates is the company that Don Williams started that has the Golden Thread software. So we can set up how often you need to require FADGI verification. It could be 8 hours, every shift, every day. It's configurable. You can have Golden Thread installed on a server. And then when the operator goes to scan, if it's time for it to be recertified, they're prompted with the message. It says, image verification must be performed in order to continue scanning. Yes, let's continue. We pop up our interface. Nice little DICE target. It says place it on there, face up, press hand feed. So now what we're doing is we just capture that image, we're sending it to Golden Thread, which is technically running over there. It's analyzing against the profile, and you get a pass or a fail based on, but typically it's a pass, right? Then do the rear and feed that. So with our scanners, what we do on the short one, we run it out to the run-out tray, not into the pockets. On our longer, bigger scanners like NARA, we stop it on the track before it even gets to the pockets to just preserve that document. And if you ever wanted to look at the details from Golden Thread, they're stored right there too. And now the operator can continue feeding. Our software, we've worked it so when they do finalize, you can adjust it to whatever the requirement is. And since not only part of it is just passing FADGI certification, but also that auditability. So every time we run those targets in our application, we are storing, so if we go down here, we're writing those out onto your network. You set up the location, the scanner, the date. So let's see, the last one we just ran, 32, right there. So we store the image that you ran against the results, front and rear, and so you have that auditability. And we also have an analytics report, which pull that up. It gives you here's the date, here's who ran it, the scanner, the results, the results folder, so where we stored that so you can just browse to it and pull it up. Not only did we do this for our Fusion scanners, so we also have a quality control module, which rescan stations are done at another place. And so those batches, as they go over there, if you need to rescan over there, it'll do the same prompt.
What we're showing here is our Fujitsu 7700 scanner. This is a device that, when used along with the IBML Fusion, you would mostly handle all of your rescans on a device like this.
Okay.
You can actually scan batch documents as well if you needed to. So the automatic document feeder on this device is 300 sheets. You can place up to 300 sheets.
Okay.
It is a duplex model. It can scan at 100 pages per minute. Both sides duplex, right? So it would be 200 images per minute. It'll handle 200, 300, 400 DPI. It can do color, grayscale, black and white. Those are all device driver settings that can be made. What's unique about this device is that the automatic document feeder, from the time that the documents get placed on the automatic document feeder here, travels through the camera and out to the exit tray. It's a 5-inch paper path, right? So less likely to jam, right? So it goes right through the camera system. So you have 2 cameras in the device here, right? Simplex duplex camera, as well as an integrated flatbed, so that for your exception type documents that probably would not be a good candidate to run on the Fusion, something like real thick,
Okay.
you're right, that will fall out of tolerance here. Would fall out of tolerance to be scanned from the automatic document feeder here, but you can place on the glass. Our scanner is FADGI capable of running FADGI from the automatic document feeder, both front and back camera, as well as flatbed. Okay. What's nice about this also is that it ships with a white background. If you keep the cover open and you place a small document, you can scan, it will automatically crop, right? Or we do have an accessory where you can peel off the white background and put what's called a black background pad. To not keep the cover open, you can close it and the black background will allow you to crop the image as well, all right? It's very useful so that the operator doesn't have to go and switch paper sizes in the driver, right? So, let me just go ahead so you would typically run the QC module or the scan module on the computer to run the scanner. The scanner is TWAIN compliant, right? So any TWAIN software product will work with this. We do have an ISIS driver as well. Yep, so it really depends if you're going to use the ISIS or Twain driver. Really, it's predicated on the scanning software that you're going to be using, right? So whatever that scanning software requires, that's the device driver that you would use. We actually have our own in-the-box software, but if you're going to be doing something more production level, you probably would lead more with the IBML, capture suite software. That will run on the PC, that will run the scanner. And all of the test target data, right, auditing data that gets collected, just as Peter and Chris just described to you, that still remains the same. Because you're running their you're using their software to run our scanner, and you would use the same dice target. So in that FADGI mode profile setting that we have hole punch removal, black page deletion, auto cropping, auto rotation, despeckle, deskew, and that's all by default turned on. What you would normally turn on in the Kofax VRS software, we have by default enabled in our software so that the operator does not have to fumble with changing, different settings. All right. So let me just go ahead and run the scan just so you can get an idea of the speed. So it does get pulled from the bottom of the stack. Very quiet. You can see it's running at 300 DPI right now. I am running some documents through sideways, right? So you can see I put them in portrait, but it automatically rotated the image in proper readable orientation. So as you can see, this first page was landscape, right? And then the second page was portrait, and that's why you actually see in the thumbnail here, you see landscape and portrait, right? It automatically rotated, right? You can also run the dice target through. Thank you. Just so you can actually test for FADGI. So in this case, you have to run the dice target because there's 3 cameras in this device. There's the simplex camera, the duplex camera, and the flatbed. I have to scan that dice target 3 times, right? So that it gets interpolated by the Golden Thread software to see if each camera is going to pass, right? So I'll go ahead and scan. That's the dice target for the first time for the front camera, right? You see it appear, and then I have it set where it'll automatically get the image automatically gets released to the directory. I'll do a second for the back camera. And then I would just simply lift it up, place it on the glass, and run it a 3rd time for the flatbed. All right. And so now, once I have these images here, I can actually go into the Golden Thread software. I can actually select the image that I just scanned. So that's the front image, and you'll see that the Golden Thread software is analyzing it. I'll go ahead and do a crop and run. I was just using my capture software to create the image file, right? But whether you create the image file with the IBML capture suite or ours of that dice target, it's just going to be analyzed. You can see here it all passed. And you could use this scanner whether you require to scan FADGI, your FADGI requirements, and just for your general scanning that does not require. So it's not a specialized device just made for FADGI. It's just one unit that can be used for both use cases.
Just to start off, I want to show you guys 2 current models that we currently have here. On the FADGI side, this is the i5250. This specific scanner is 150 pages per minute, and it's a workhorse. It also comes in the 5850 as well as the 5650. And the 5850 is a little more unique because it comes on a stand of its own. But we did want to show you guys what a desktop model looks like if and pretty much do the same exact thing except for the FADGI portion at this time. So I'm going to show you the simplicity of how it is to scan on the machine. Very simple. I am a technical person, but I am not the most technical. So if I can do it, anybody can do it. So literally place the paper right on the bed. And that is it. Press the go button. It's good to go. So what you guys of course know is we have so many different features that, a lot that I can't get into because it would take a lot of our time. But, noise reduction, being able to deskew, crop, image rotate, everything. You literally can, it pretty much does it by itself. So very nice and simple. So this next model over here is our 5250, once again, FADGI. So we'll show you how to utilize this as well. The unique part about our scanner is it has the ability to go into FADGI and non-FADGI mode. So some people, say for instance, they're only doing permanent records 10% of the time. A lot of people are worried about, oh my gosh, I don't want this huge thing here if I'm not going to be utilizing it. Well, you can still utilize it on both modes.
A simple toggle, if you look at the close to the screen here, it goes into FADGI just by on the front control panel. You just toggle it and turn it on, and then you're in FADGI. We do have to use a certain driver for that, like you mentioned, the ISIS and Twain. We use our ASIS driver for that. So the Aquis is driven for the FADGI function of that, and that's where you do your dice target testing. We don't have it set up so you don't get you have to take the image, like our PC's doesn't have gold thread loaded on it like some of the others. A lot of the users have one certain station that will have golden thread loaded, and they'll push those targets into that, and that's what you guys would probably do. That way, multiple users can use that same profile. And we would just take that target and take it to the PC, or if it was through a network, you would just network to the PC. We have it set up over there to show you the target. Again, the target similar to other applications. I'm sure they talked about how delicate it is. Yes. So what we do, obviously you're used to it, going through normal operation. This will be a little bit faster than 4850. Same as your 4850, just a little bit faster, obviously. And then when we run our target, like I was telling you, to protect it, we open up the rear exit, which your 4850 probably has that as well. And what we would do is just open that, and that way the target doesn't make that complete turn and doesn't damage it. I'm sure other vendors have talked about how how delicate the target is. You want to make sure that you kind of handle it the right way. It'll pull it through, but instead of coming at the top, pull it at the back, just to protect it.
The whole purpose of FADGI is to ensure good and consistent imaging across all modalities and across devices, users, etc. And I'd like to start with an example that might resonate with the community, and that is a question my sister asked me several years ago. So what do you do? And I said, well, we develop tools for measuring imaging performance, good imaging performance on digitization, like a scanner. And then she says, so I gave her the example. You have a scanner, an item, you scan it on your flatbed scanner, and you get a result. And she looks at me and says, well, you turn it on, what could go wrong? And that's the point, is anything can go wrong. So as an example of that, when I give classes to help the users resonate with that, I say, do this. Go to your search bar and type in, let's see, girl with the pearl earring, and then type on images, and you'll see an entire mosaic of renderings of the girl with the pearl earring, and they're all different. The colors are different, the tone scales are different. This is what we're trying to manage, is to say, no, you can do that, but make sure, as in the audio industry, you have a master, you have a good information master from which you can create derivatives for your own purposes. But the point is to create a good repurposable master, and to do that through standards that have been vetted by experts, and have a science-based factual process. So, for instance, how do you measure resolution? No, it's not just by number of pixels, it's not by megapixels. No, there's a real live way to measure consistently, in a scientific sense, resolution, for instance, and tone scale, and color, etc. And these are the things that we measure under the FADGI umbrella. And then we have standards around those, like, okay, what are the, nothing's ever perfect, no, but you can put tolerances around perfection, let me say. And to that point this is what the FADGI does. It allows you certain tolerances, sort of like a Yelp rating, okay? There's tolerances, good, very, very tight ones. Okay, it's costly, but some kind of content require that. So the whole point of this is, how do we maintain and create a good digital master of an image? And that's what FADGI is about. It's a quality control process, it's a quality management process for anything. And like I might have said before, when you go to any McDonald's, it's the same across the entire world. You get that hamburger, and that's what we're trying to do with FADGI, is try to maintain good, consistent imaging. It depends there are cost structures around this, but we try to base it on, I suggest, on an incremental basis. We say, okay, so how do you start? I say, okay, most workflows say they're on a daily basis. Every day, put a target through, we call it a ruler, and okay, are we getting the same measures from that ruler that we expect? Then we try it the next day, and then we try it, are we getting good consistent results between those? So the real ideal here is, are we getting consistent results? Then the questions are, okay, what if those results aren't where we want them to be? There's always post-processing tools that can move you to where you want to be. So getting back to your original question is, how frequent should we be doing this? We'd say, start with a daily process. If you find that things are going well, then we say decrement them. Do it every other day. Are you still getting the same result? And every once in a while, you should put in some random checks to make sure that that something hasn't gone awry between your inspection and auditing process. Correct, yes. And you would scan, as we say, a color ruler, a target, we call it, and that digital image is then ingested into the software, the Golden Thread software, and it gives you a report. It says, here's a pass-fail result, or there are other, let's say, moderated results you can also get. But it gives you a pass-fail, yes.
As much detail as you can.
With this, well, yes. We give a summary panel, it gives a PDF report, it gives an XML report, it logs all the data, so even if you want to go back and check, so how did I do 2 days ago? All that data is logged, and you can go back and compare and say, okay, we're pretty much doing the same that we did 2 days ago, a week ago, a month ago. We're trying to eliminate that term because it is confusing. Yeah, so basically that is what we call in the imaging world, that's a target. And I prefer, because most users will resonate with, oh, it's a ruler, yeah. And what does that ruler have on it? Most people think of a ruler as a spatial ruler, inches. Well, actually, we have those on there, but there's colors on there. We know what those colors are as we measured them. So when we get a result, we say, are those colors what they're supposed to be? And there are other type things we measure. Is it real resolution, or is it a fuzzy resolution? And we have tools on there, all ISO based, that allow you to measure against all these different rulers. We have spatial rulers, we have resolution rulers, we have color rulers, all embedded on that one, let's call it a master ruler, right? Here's an example I'll use from the museum and library community. This awoke me to why you want to create a good digital master. In the beginning, something that's repurposable. And the quote was, for a particular look to an image, they say, oh, you want that for publication. He said, oh, yeah. So the publication people, they want a completely different look. I hate to say, they want it to sell in the bookstore. And it may not look good to the casual user as a master, because it's, let's face it, oh, the reds aren't angry enough. It's not snappy enough. So these are all subjective terms people use, and everyone has a different opinion on what snappiness is or what a good red is. But we think, no, we're using objective measures, and we want to maintain the information in that original master. So that's why it's so important so that you can repurpose it without rescanning, and that ultimately saves money. Why are we rescanning this stuff? If we just had a good digital copy in the beginning, we could just, that's what image processing is about. You can create your own derivative from it. So it is a good, I know I'm repeating myself here, but it's a repurposable master that you can create just about any derivative you want.
And not every image means, not every document,
No.
every, this is important, critical, historic.
Exactly.
You know, so the original can be aged, it can be a variety of different things. So the purpose is to get the digital image exactly as close to the original that's
Right.
in front of you.
Exactly. Right, and that's what we call input referred, the original, versus output referred, something that looks good on the screen. And in the imaging science world, those are common terms.
Thank you again for taking the time to watch this video and all of what we have to offer in our newly created Digital Innovation Center. For more information about how it is we're providing these capabilities and these services, visit us at our Konica Minolta website, or log into our records modernization webinars that are also available in the near future.